What's up, everybody?
And we're live? Okay, I think we are. Hello, everybody. What's up? Leviathan News
up?
here on another weekly panel. Honored to be here with my fellow co-hosts, Honorable Amplice, the esteemed Millie, and the admirable Amadeo Brands. How are you guys?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing amazing.
Good to have you here again with us.
I actually love the market now. It feels like half bear market, half bull market, and it's just like I love the grind. I just like it. It's not too much overhyped. It's like we're back into the territory that people are just like, oh, whatever, this crypto thing. But it's still, there's so much happening. Trump talking about crypto, Biden making a fool of himself again, and like, yeah, it's hilarious. It's amazing. I love the industry. Yeah.
You don't need entertainment when you have crypto. Like you just like shows don't even like hit me the same anymore. They just don't have the same level as excitement as.
This is such a good point. This is such a good point. You know, I actually I used to be like a sports fan addict, and honestly, ever since like I actually been following crypto and finance, this is kind of like it's even better than sports because there are no breaks. Like it's all the time. It's constant. You don't have to wait for the game or after the game or before the playoff, after the playoff. It's like full on 24/7, 365 days a year of like full on content. And look what we have here, by the way. Sam, what's up, man? How are you?
How is everybody? I'm great.
Good to have you on. So how's the portfolio going?
So
Indeed.
there's actually a lot of stuff to talk about from the past week, right? There's it says wait, actually our last show that we did, it was supposed to be the day that the friend token dropped, but like Racer was so slow to drop the token, ended up dropping way later in the day. But so that might be a good place to actually start. Did you guys all like get a friend tech airdrop?
I faded it. I got zero.
I switched my phones, and I need to look into my old phone, and you know, it's not really like, yeah. I miss like I don't even know how to export my private key from Friendtech. I don't even know if that was possible or not.
You can just connect your account from the computer, and you will find it. Like it will be.
Oh.
It will probably be much easier than you think. Just try connecting your Twitter to Friendtech through the computer, and it should work. Like because it's not like with an actual like private key that you keep, you know, and
all right, I'm gonna do some live testing right now.
I think you can actually export your wallet too if you're.
Millie, what did you think about their liquidity strategy? Essentially putting one friend into the LP contract and then just airdropping it to everybody.
I don't know. Like honestly, I put out a tweet yesterday. I think like it's from an academic standpoint, it's like a treasure mine. Like it's like literally. Okay, basically the way they put the structure of the AMM is that they whitelisted even the router, so you can't even aggregate from that pool unless you're using the app, and like you can't. And the tokens are non-transferable outside of that Bunny Swap AMM that they have. So like whoever has a token, you can't actually transfer that token except for into like the clubs, into like the club bonding curves, and into that Bunny Swap pool. So like, and on top of that, the router is also whitelisted, so you can't even like use it outside of the UI. So it's just an interesting thing to like study because. First of all, there's absolutely no toxic flow that could touch that pool because like there's no way to arb the pool from any other price sources. That's the only price source. And then the second thing is like another like sort of subtle thing is how like people will behave because they have to go through only this UI and like they can't just go through their own custom UI because like with crypto we're really used to like just getting token from any aggregator or whatever. So. It's I think like it's just like a really interesting it's really interesting from that perspective, and like just the fact that like the AMM can get ARB, like there's just a lot of like the AMM pool. I actually put my tokens in the LP. I noticed that like you could I noticed like the yield is actually quite high, for being in there just because of all like the trading activity. Now that might die off over time because as trading as it becomes less hype, but like it's just interesting to see that like when the token is 100% community owned and it's you don't have any market makers, just like the one pool and like the one source of price discovery where like you can't get toxic flow. You get like an interesting result.
I don't really understand. Could you tell me? I still don't understand it. Like, so basically, they said that you can claim token and then I don't, but because it went to 0, right? Or how is the token doing? I don't even know.
So it's
okay,
actually. Yeah, it's I think so. Basically, okay, let me try and break it down as accurately as possible. So there was 90 million points farmed since the app launched, right? Last summer. 90 million points were farmed. Basically what they did is actually convert all those points 1-to-1 for these tokens. And they saved, 10 million points, quote unquote, for themselves, which is I guess now 10 million, or actually it's a little more. It's 12 million now. Friend tokens, and they put all of that towards the incentivizing the LP pool. Okay, and then the entire 90 million points that was farmed was converted to friend tokens and airdropped to all the users who had the points. So so everyone who had points, just like the whole supply is basically accounted for based on who farmed whatever points over time, and the last 12% goes to the AMM pool over time as an incentive to whoever deposits LP tokens. And then the thing with the LP token is that like the LP itself, that's the only pool you can actually transfer this token to. You can't actually transfer the friend token around anywhere but that pool, the ETH pool, it's an ETH friend pool, and like whatever spending it in-app in the bonding curves for the clubs and keys or whatever. So yeah, that's basically the breakdown of it.
Oh, I love it. And so they made it kind of like their own AMM, basically, right?
Yeah, it's just like a Uniswap V2.
Just a Uniswap V2. Okay, that's not that efficient, right? But okay.
Yeah, so like everyone has to deposit full range. So when you deposit full range.
So how many tokens did you get? And are you or are you not canceling Yield Nest now that you've seen your drop?
Bye guys. No, like I'm actually revealing live on stream. I don't know how much I got. I will see. I'm just getting my text message. I'm doing it right now, so give me a couple of seconds. But you guys just continue. No, but it's interesting they built their own AMM. I think it's really cool. It's something I was also like thinking about. Like, oh yeah, we should, But I don't know if it's better or worse. It's actually better if people can freely transfer because then you get more float. I think. But you're saying people can actually only inject it in the liquidity pool, so they cannot really sell it, or they can also sell it for what? For like ETH.
You can sell it for ETH, right? So you could. That's the only pool that you could transfer a token to. So like you could sell it to a pool, you could provide liquidity to a pool, whatever.
That is actually really smart because then of course in the beginning you get all these dumpers that are just dumping the shit out of it that will just like get huge impermanent loss. And people that stay in the pool eventually get impermanent gains, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the first day, a bunch of influencers were selling it. Did you see that, Amplice?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the token, the price action has been pretty interesting, I think.
Did you see like all the KOLs selling like on day one, like a bunch of them publicly, very obviously like just dumping the airdrop right away. Some of them even said they were gonna like give it to their key holders or whatever.
Yeah, bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on that. But yeah, no, I saw I didn't like follow it too closely because I didn't play Friend Tech at all. I totally faded it and more fool me, I guess. So try to avoid the timeline when there's a big airdrop and you don't have tokens. It's a very sad day. But I saw the price action, like the thing dumped immediately, and then like a bunch of people started tweeting and like tweeting about how whatever, it's like the first like real application that's actually got users, blah 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 blah, and then a bunch of people start shilling on the timeline. Yeah, so it's pretty interesting. I still don't believe in buying and selling people, much less your friends.
Well,
know,
they
if you guys
pivoted now.
all-
They pivoted to clubs now. So like his rooms now it's chat rooms.
It doesn't
It's
matter
not-
whether it's groups of people or individuals. I'm still not interested in buying and selling people.
Yeah, you know what? The funny thing about it is, realistically, I think the app itself was always mostly about the token, and so like they just gave the token to everyone. So like, okay, here you go. This is the token you want. Just have it, and they just like dropped it to everybody, and a lot of people just like stole it right away, and then like they just left it open to whoever wants to LP. And I think realistically, probably, I don't know how good it's going to do over time. Like I think some people are bullish on it for no reason. Like I'm not sure like what there is to be bullish on really. Like, but just the token itself to me is like idea of it.
Guys, I think we have a live.
Wow, I got it. I actually didn't have time to claim it.
Pivot to unboxing tokens.
Unboxing. No, but I like it.
They don't see like I don't know how to like remove the what's it called. I don't think they showed the number because I think our like photos were on it. No, I don't know how to remove it. You know what I mean? Like, did you guys see the number on the airdrop? I didn't.
No, I didn't see it just now.
No, there was no number.
I just saw that he claimed. It's okay.
Yeah.
Deo doesn't
Because-
want us to know how much. It's fine.
Yeah, because no, it's not because of him. It's because I didn't know how to like eliminate our screens, our
Oh,
photos.
I see. Okay.
Never mind. Either way,
Anyway, I think this app would have been huge in 2020. Like if this came out in 2020, this would have like been insane, right? But like for right now, honestly, it's interesting because on Blast right now, there's a few like social-fi apps or whatever that are like, I would say probably better than like more effort into a friend tech, and they were like, they came out way later, and I don't think any of them made like 50 million in fees or 30 million in fees, right? Like friend tech did. So like it's funny. It's
Let me
funny,
share my
right? Like,
screen. Yeah, share my screen. You can share my screen. Sorry, I had to close some tabs, DAdvisoor. But yeah, no, I'm super transparent.
whoa,
No,
we got a whale here, folks.
What? I don't think it's that much, but I think it's an interesting mechanism, right? How they do it.
Yeah, it's actually it was actually a lot of fun. Actually,
also, to be fair,
So
kind of
the
cool.
only thing that for me is still annoying is the speed, right? You see, the image is not loading. The chat. I'm just wondering, like, why is it so buggy? You know,
that's
like,
what I mean. They made 30 million in fees in like over the past 9 months, 10 months that they've been live. So it's like I don't know what they do. And there's apps on like there's other social-fi apps that are like a lot better with a lot less like and
you see, it's like it's very confusing because they're like claim and like, okay, keys, friends, buy, sell, ETH. I have a little bit of ETH here. Wallet value is still loading. That's broken. I can click here. Guys, this doesn't look that good, right? Let's be honest. I do think that social-fi is going to be huge.
No, but it
Well,
becomes
it's just a
super
question
after
who's
you use
gonna
it.
exit. It's all about. It's gonna be fun. Yeah. Okay. But I'm like, okay, now I have incomplete. I need to follow 10 people. I need to join a club. What does that mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's kind of engaging though. Like, don't take it like that. I think it's kind of like following people is very like easy. Joining a club also, you just find like a cheap club that you can buy the key for, and then you can mint, and they give you like 10% in advance, so you'll have enough friend tokens to do it. I actually think they thought of some kind of cool and innovative stuff with it, and I actually think that they're well positioned to take it wherever they want to. You know what I mean? Like they have
It is very interesting.
user base.
This is interesting. This is
They
really
have an
cool.
actual user
So
base.
we created. This is the first time in history we can create friend clubs with price curves. That's pretty cool.
Still a lot of cool
yeah,
stuff.
I think DeFi Advisor just said something really important there. They are sort of in like the driver's seat. They can take it wherever they want to. And just unfortunately they've been steering it so wildly so far. I don't get why. But if Racer wants, like he could there's a he could take it a lot of ways.
The one thing I will say, like I haven't been participating at all. I have never used the app, so I don't know what's going on in terms of actually using the product. But I will say, like in terms of distribution, I think like they did it the right way. I think like giving up a lot to users essentially, such that like everybody who got dropped is now like on board and is kind of an evangelist for your product. I think in contrast to a lot of recent airdrops or token generation events or whatever you want to call them, where teams have been getting absolutely skewered for being too greedy, fucking up pie charts and things like that. I think the kind of more democratic nature of the Friendtech airdrop is like commendable, and even if I have no interest in using the app, like I admit that they've done a good job there.
Yeah, I think
and some of like the gov token nihilists, like some of the gov token nihilists, like Guart, have really like the airdrop. They like, it's making the argument that this is like what people only care about tokens, and like at least they did that right or whatever. So I don't know. I think different people see it different ways, but I do think they could make it into something interesting. They're actually on like a perfect place to do it, right? They're on base. They're the only SoFi app there. So
I mean, end of the day, like
go ahead.
Your airdrop or your token generation or whatever you want to call it is effectively the equivalent of like your marketing budget, right? You get to spend this. You get to spend your token to like get eyeballs, get attention, get people on your side. In the same way that Uber did it by subsidizing rides for like 10 years before,
Honestly, I think
in a case where with like Friendtech, where they did a good job on the airdrop, but like the product is a bit shabby or whatever, it's basically like, okay, imagine a tech company with a mediocre product but really good marketing. That's basically what it is. That's kind of how I think about it anyways.
Except it's just a one-time marketing cost, right? And it's just a one-time thing and it's like, I don't know. I personally, when I look at it, I feel like if you look at it from that perspective from an app, it becomes very difficult to justify doing a big airdrop. If you look at it as just a marketing expense or as just a user acquisition event, if you look at it as strictly through that lens, it becomes really, and that's how I feel like we end up some cases where like the airdrops are smaller than what people expect, is because the teams might think of it that way. Like they might overly like look at the airdrop as something like that is like, it's just like a promotional thing. And I feel like through that lens, it's just like, it's just not worth it as much, right? Because there's like way better ways to spend it. And because it's that one-time thing, it's not recurring. So like, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like if you look at it from a distribution perspective and like you're trying to distribute token, that's why I feel like, and you can tell the teams that actually really believe that and they view it that way, they obviously give bigger allocations usually to the community anyway. And so like, I feel like from that perspective, it makes sense a lot, right? Like if you're trying to make sure that the token gets like distributed accordingly to like whatever is like subjectively fair, then like I think that that makes sense to do it. But I feel like if you look at it strictly from like that marketing budget, like expense type cost, I don't know, it just doesn't. I feel like it's hard to justify.
The way that I think about
you
it
want to
is
reward your good actors.
The way that I think about it is like, that classic I don't know, like consulting graph where it's like the tech adoption graph where it's like you have your early adopters, your whatever, and then I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but there's this like classic business case study graph with like the tech adoption curve, whatever, right? Basically, the way that I think about it is your token generation is a kind of marketing expense essentially, but it's marketing expense one time that gets your strongest product evangelists, early adopters on board, who will like basically evangelize your product to everybody they know, or everybody in crypto Twitter anyways. If you do well by them, like if you drop them fairly, then they will like forever be on your side. And if you fuck it up, they will forever be on Twitter shitting on your product, right? Like, so you have like this one chance to get these people on your side. And
it's really hard to filter those people. It's like, but it's like most of them you need to watch out for like airdrop farmers, right? Because you have these, it's like you're having a war, you want to kill the bad guys and save the good guys, but the bad guys are hiding among the good guys. So you need to really have snipers or something to kill the bad guys.
I guess my philosophy is like, you'd rather not kill any good guys and let some bad guys in rather than the opposite, right? Where you kill all the good guys and kill all the bad guys. But then everybody's dead.
I think You know what's interesting though? Like these airdrops, they could really simply, like, it's not difficult to make them silver resistant, right? Like they just got to make the airdrop like linear, right? And pro rata to whatever like liquidity or whatever they're targeting, right? The problem with these apps is like they're playing games. They're not rewarding the real activity. They're rewarding whatever makes their metrics that are like important to them look favorable, right? And that's what they're optimizing for. And so like like the teams that sort of like I think if you really wanted to do it, like you could just do straight up liquidity mining. You don't need to do points or anything or airdrop. You could just like do straight up liquidity mining and like make it very transparent as to like what the rules are.
Yeah.
But like, or you could just do it linear, right? So like you make it somewhat transparent, like what the idea is, but you make the whole distribution linear, and that way, like it doesn't matter if someone symbols it or not, right? And you just it's based on liquidity or based on time weighted liquidity or whatever, or like active liquidity or whatever metric that matters, that it can't be gamed, right? And so like they could do it, but they don't do it because like you get inflated metrics when you get these symbol farmers that come in. And so I think a lot of teams do tap into that, and that's why they sort of like did, or some teams like they just don't tease at all, and airdrop shock farmers show up anyway, And
the data shows that most airdrops, Uniswap, Arbitrum, all of these people, all the airdrop farmers, most of them sold, and the actual longer term community members bought it from the airdrop farmers. I think that's really wrong. So, we need to find a way to incentivize people with long term commitments and that want to like stick around and vote and come with proposals. And, it's very early data. So, but I think the solution for that is kind of giving away some sort of like NFTs, having people, giving the airdrop, but maybe giving away an NFT as well, and trying to see how long they will stick, and then transforming that into some sort of a longer term commitment. And the people that want to give the longest term commitment and do the healthiest thing for the system, they should be rewarded very, very well. And even the people that think they are the good guys, you need to see good behavior in the system. The actors that show good behavior in the systems should be rewarded, and your system should be designed so you can actually measure good behavior, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I think that makes total sense, and these are like different measures people could take to make the airdrop symbol resistant, right? And they just don't, right? Like we just don't see that often, and so like it's a missed opportunity for some teams. But like, and in some cases, some teams just want a big liquid market right away, and so like they want several percent, so they don't want any kind of locked up, or they don't want the tokens to be like low float, so they want to create like 5 to 10, 15% of float right away. And so okay, maybe it makes sense to just do the airdrop. But I think in almost every case, it makes sense to like do it a symbol resistant, like linear distribution. Like I just don't see why they, at least close to, right? Like as close to as possible. I don't see why they wouldn't, like, but obviously like I said, like there's an incentive to try to farm the metrics. Right?
I think last cycle there was some pushback against linear drops because basically like people were complaining the rich get richer, whales, blah blah blah. But yeah, I think the Sybil situation is way worse, honestly. So going back to linear makes sense. Dale, what's the airdrop criteria for Yield Nest? Live on stream right now.
We're gonna release. Oh shit, I'm gonna release it soon. Yeah, I teased it. We're doing a lot of testing right now. We're testing all the codes. It's really fun to be back on the Thursday live stream. But yeah, we're going live Monday. Monday at 12:42 UTC. Special number. And then
why?
Yeah.
Why is it a special number?
It's a joke, but
okay.
It's an internal joke. It's an angel number of good luck, and it's a leprechaun day. So we thought like let's do it on leprechaun day, and also let's wait for the eigen token claim, right? And we thought we go live after that, and basically we have a special NFT pioneers program, so that when people stake at least 5 ETH for the first 2 weeks, and we do want to reward people that deposit early more graciously than people that come later. So that's why we're also not making that much noise about it, but I hope enough noise. And the people that know will know, and then we welcome them into the restaking vaults. And we're basically building a new liquid restaking protocol that is going to change the game. And we also, this is on chain, but we got protocol and liquidity approval from Frax approved. So Frax is going to inject some of the POL protocol owned liquidity into YNETH, and we're collaborating with them on a couple of different levels that we will release more information about soon. Yeah, so there's a lot of really cool things happening, and we will release more in due time. But first, we wanted the people that believe in us, and it's actually great because the token of Eigen is released. Eigen still will release 10% of the supply, and actually, if you calculate the Eigen airdrop, people that were farming it got like a 60% interest, right, on the tokens. But the thing is, it was not a linear drop, and I think actually what was good how they did, because they actually want to design a system for the long term. They don't want to give away too much token to just mindless leverage people or something. They give more tokens to solo stakers. They give more. They're actually trying to do the good thing, but it's really, really difficult. Giving away money is always harder than giving away money is harder than it seems. And
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on
Eigen?
Actually, it's a perfect segue. What are your thoughts on the whole?
Yeah, well, wait. I finished the spiel.
Sorry.
The first 2 weeks. Then you get we call it the Pioneers NFT. And the Pioneers NFT will transfer into a Guardian, and we're setting all this whole new sub-DAO structure that kind of will wrap around the different components in the system, and that will completely decentralize the whole protocol over time. And then you will be able to participate, vote, and need to be a good actor in the system in order to get the eventual governance token and the governance rights with the NFTs. And then the protocol revenue will be streamed to the governance tokens over time, right? So yeah, we're trying our best to do it a bit in a newer way. We think that, the segue to Eigen, we do think that restaking is kind of the glue, and the exporting economic security is what we need in order to harden our DeFi infrastructure to defend us against the weird bureaucrats that are coming for us, in my opinion. So I do think it's important to have a lot of these things that will be coming with restaking, right? But the honest truth is that it's quite far away, and I do think that it's a little bit dishonest from some parties that were just promoting this pointless token farming. I of course I also hope to get billions of dollars in TVL at the first weeks, but I think that maybe it happened, maybe it happened not. But like the thing is that like I would rather build a longer term protocol than just to scream and say like, oh, deposit now, this that. I would rather build something longer term, and that's also great to start now after the hype maybe is a little bit more going down, a little bit more normalized. Then it's easier to find the good people in the crowd to reward them and get them into the community and together build a whole new restaking ecosystem. I'm very excited for that. Yeah, and I think the Eigen token is great. It's very interesting. It's like the intersubjective forking. It's kind of a thing that is done before in DeFi. I think I've got, there was Aragon or something. They did it after that governance attack. They did this intersubjective forking kind of design, and EigenLayer perfected that a little bit and make it easier for other protocols to implement that. And I think restaking and exporting economic security is going to be a very important part of our industry, because as we know, like a lot of things in DeFi are just distributed finance, and that's fine, but we should call it distributed finance because it's like a lot of things are not fully DeFi, right? Like we still have a long way to go to get there. And with restaking, we can actually make things more towards real decentralization, in my opinion, or more distributed, right? So we can harden our web, or we can make better Oracle infrastructures. We can make better bridges. We can kind of unified liquidity models will become possible. Yeah, it's very exciting times. I'm very, very thrilled and super excited to move forward with this. Yeah, I love things in store. We're working with Wavy and Naga King on a new kind of sort of unified liquidity model for different LRT modules that we're going to build. So yeah, it's very interesting. A lot of things happening, and now it's just initiating the protocol, because like starting an LRT, and in this case we're starting an NLRT, so it is natively restaked ETH, right? So we need to spin up a lot of validators. And
can you explain the
let me see.
difference maybe there between an
Yeah.
LRT and an NLRT?
Yes. Yeah. So you can go to our documentation at like docs.yieldnest.finance, and you will see there basically.
Can you send it in the private chat? I will try to share it on screen.
Yeah, I can also share my screen.
Okay, whatever.
Easier.
Maybe whatever you prefer.
Let me do that one second. Oh, I have so many tabs open. I have to. Yeah. 1 second. Okay.
So many tabs.
So basically, yeah.
We know what you
so
mean.
many secrets. Yeah, no secrets at all. But yeah, here you go. So basically, there's we have an NLRT. An LRT is basically that you restake tokens, and an NLRT you're actually restaking the validators, right? So that's the difference. It's quite simple, but quite a important nuance, and quite it's the difficulty level is increases like 100x, because you basically have to build a whole LSD in order to do this, and that's what we did. So that's done. That's now. Right now, there's multiple people sitting in front of me here, working on all the, getting all the notes ready and getting all the,
you have like actual offices and stuff.
Well, it's. I mean, we're not corporate or anything like that, but we do have a nice hideout in Bangkok. If anybody
That's cool.
ever.
That's great. So next week, everyone set your clocks. This is going to be interesting. And so these, you guys have native restaking, like native liquid restaking live from day one.
Yeah, native liquid restaking is going to be live from day one, and our testnet is also live, so you can actually go here and you can test it ourselves. We're actually heavily testing it right now, so I hope nothing will crash. This is just, but this is our testnet. This is testnet. This is not live, right? But let's hope we reach the same numbers on the mainnet soon. And yeah, as you can see here, we start with YieldNest ETH, and YieldNest ETH is a natively liquid restake token, and then we have YieldNest LSD. So it's basically two ways to restake into the system, and the third one will be then with the Eigen token, or with other tokens and things like that. But that's going to be in the categories. So we're building kind of like focused AVS categories, and these focused AVS categories will give you like focused exposure to different categories. So that could be Wine DeFi, could be Curve, Frax, other infra that wants to use restaking in their infrastructure. Wine AI could be Spice AI, Witness Chain, and other things. Rollup could be Expresso System and all the other AVSs that are coming live. And we're isolating these risks, because right now, the funny thing, what's happening with all the other LRTs, are just running around or something, because it's like they're just basketing everything, right? So they're putting everything in one basket, and that's it. We're already having the architecture ready, so we can kind of isolate and have better risk management, but also then with that increase the rewards better, and take these LRTs to something like Gearbox or something in those regards, and then using those things in other DeFi ecosystems, right? And
so
what's
I think
really
you guys
cool,
are actually the right way. Like, this is the right way to do it, is to do it this way. Like, because there's a huge difference between the different strategies, right? Like, these are entirely different strategies, some of them. So like, it absolutely makes sense to break it down this way.
Yeah, and
I have
coming soon, but we go for it.
I have a very important question for you. Can you help us define the word intersubjectivity? I'm only half joking. I don't know what it means. It doesn't mean
I have
anything.
no idea.
Oh, okay.
That's so good.
Okay, so a subjective slashing or intersubjective forking. Yeah, it's weird that they took such a difficult term for that, right? I would say subjectivity means it's nice weather. That's very subjective, right? Or you could say this is a nice UI, right? That's subjective. And then intersubjective intersubjective forking is basically that you can be like, oh, like if something we don't agree on something, then we can have like some sort of a mutual fund. So they call it. They should have better maybe called it mutual slashing and just slashing, right? So slashing is just like, oh, we have an actual cryptographic proof of that you would deliver. Yeah. So actually, weather maybe is a good example, right? So you can say we have weather balloons, and the weather balloons say it's 32 degrees, and if it's 32 degrees, it's nice weather, or if it's 30 degrees, it's nice weather. Okay, right? Intersubjectively, it's like, oh, I look at the sky and it's 30 degrees, but it's for some reason it's very rainy or something, or whatever. I don't know, right? So that could be intersubjective, right? So subjective is if you have the hard data and the hard proofs. Intersubjective could mean, well, but there is like some nuance into that, right? That's the main difference, I would say.
Yeah, so like it's like, imagine you think that the weather is nice, right? And this is intersubjective in the way I read it. It's like you think the weather's nice. I think the weather's not nice. I think I don't like this weather. It's too hot. It's too sticky. You say it's great weather. Amplice thinks
Exactly.
it's also great weather. And DAdvisoor also thinks it's great weather. Yeah. Now you have three people. Intersubjectively, they think it's great weather, but I don't think it's great weather, right? But like, there's three intersubjective opinions that it is great weather, and so like that's how I view intersubjective.
And so then what? We slash you and you lose all your coins?
Yeah, you slash me because I don't agree with it.
No,
I like the sound of that.
No, is that not how it works?
No. Well, they don't slash; they fork you.
Yeah, they fork you, exactly. They fork you.
Yeah.
But
so we forced Millie to fork
token
to his own sad weather
chain. Token.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Fork
if we're doing
and
this,
that means that you can. Yeah. Go for it.
Okay. No. Go ahead. So, like, if we're talking about the Egan token and we're talking about like forking somebody off, like how would you do that within the context of the Egan token?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of details there will come, but the high level would be you have a token A and a token B. The token A we can use freely in DeFi. Token B is something that the token that will be actually restaked in the systems. And the forking of an event is a very event that almost never happens. That's what they say in their documentation. I actually don't really agree with that. I think a proper restaking protocol should fork / a lot, because then you can actually do a lot of really cool economic things with that, right? So, but I think that will happen over time. People that will increase more. So the risks will be quite high, but the rewards also will be good. So I would say forking means that we have that B token that's staked in the system, that then if we don't agree on something, we're just going to fork you out. That means that actually that token will split into a new token, right? So then you get B token classic. People that have B token classic, right, because it forked, could still say this is really nice. We really like this, really nice weather. So we're just going to stay in this thing, and they have their own token. They have their own thing. So these people that don't agree with the majority can fork off in another token that can have its own life. And there I have also a lot of questions myself. And there it actually stops with the explanation of how it works, right? Because until that level, if you go really that deep, then it's still, there's some question marks still for me also. I also don't know everything about intersubjective forking. But as far as I know, that new token could also have a life, or they might lock that token, right? But I'm not sure about that. But they just fork you off. Instead of slashing out, they fork you, and you still have your token. But since you made the wrong decision, you usually pick the wrong side. Yeah.
So can you still eject that token, like redeem it for its underlying? Like if it's like a restake token?
But there's no underlying. There's no underlying, right? So you could say this like Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, right? Bitcoin forked to Bitcoin Cash, right? And there's a lot of people that were like, oh, I want Bitcoin Cash, and a lot of people said Bitcoin. Because there were a lot of people that said Bitcoin Cash, and actually something formed around it, right? And those people just did their own thing with Bitcoin Cash and then Bitcoin HV and etc., right? And Bitcoin stayed Bitcoin, right? But they're technically all Bitcoin. Just that the other Bitcoin is the longest chain, right? So that will just
right.
That is
but
Bitcoin with Bitcoin.
Right. Okay. But we're talking about right now the ABSs, like the actual, like these. Are we talking about the ABSs forking, or what are we talking about forking?
No. The token forks. So similar to Bitcoin, the miner or the nodes don't fork. the token splits, and then people that
Well,
don't.
in Bitcoin,
so
no, the miners absolutely
like,
fork.
I will make
In
it more
Bitcoin,
clear,
the
right? So
miners
in the
fork.
documentation, yeah. So in this case, as far as I understand, like, because this is all still theoretical, so we still need to see the implementation of this, the full implementation. But as far as I understand, it's like if I have this token B that I stake, I can vote. So I can either say it's good weather or bad weather, and you say, hey, it's good weather, and somebody says it's bad weather. I say, yeah, it's bad weather. And then the people that disagree, that pick the wrong side, will get forked off, right?
I think, okay, I think this is what I think it is.
Thing.
Okay. I think this is what how I read it. I thought it was, okay, the AVSs, basically, they operate on objective truth. So they have these data on chain where, like, these slashing events where they could slash someone for doing something. And then if there's an AVS, for whatever reason, that thinks that those guarantees are not enough, and they want also like some intersubjective like truth as to some behavior, right? Like, let's say it's some like AVS where like DA, right? Like they're posting DA, and because you can't just post it can't be easily verified on chain whether what was in the DA, right? Especially because, like, for example, with Ethereum, we don't know what's in the blobs, right? Like the blob data is just unknown. So like,
yeah.
So like, I feel like
it's
for those circumstances, the intersubjective.
Yes.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, like those circumstances, like there's an LRT securing that AVS or whatever, and like they get slashed. So like the intersubjective truth would be that, you know, who, like the Egan token would vote. And if there's some sort of dispute among the Egan token about that outcome, then the Egan token would have to fork itself, right? And that would be the ultimate intersubjective truth, where everyone from the outside is like, okay, like the correct chain is the one, like the real Egan token is the one that voted for the right outcome, and this is the right outcome. And then it'll resolve downstream to like if this DA AVS behaved maliciously or not, and they would get slashed. And also like the Egan tokens, I understand that sort of misbehave would also fork off. And those would be the Egan tokens that exist, like you mentioned, like Bitcoin Cash, in a separate situation. So those Egan tokens might exist in a separate dimension with an entirely separate AVS or whatever, like chain of AVSs. And then this Egan token with like the one that's quote unquote the correct, the intersubjectively correct fork, and the canonical forks would be like completely operate outside of that. And that would be where they fork. So I think that's how I read it. And I think, you know, a lot of projects sort of, I think they attempted this a lot, like throughout time. And I think it's sort of been refined better and better over time. So like Augur was like the very first implementation of it. And that was like, it was a failed experiment, didn't work. But like we have like right now there's different iterations. And I guess like the idea, the concept of it is sound, like where you have basically for wherever you can produce like mathematical proof and empirical proof, or like a objective truth, then you'd use that with on-chain proofs and on-chain proving, and you slash parties based on that. And in cases where you can't do that, then you rely on this other this intersubjective layer. And I think the problem with it is just like it depends on how much you believe that intersubjective layer. I guess that's what it comes down to at the end of the day, right? And and that applies to everything, right? Like Bitcoin, ETH, everything has an intersubjective layer that like sort of applies to how much you believe in whichever one would happen. And so like in the camp of Bitcoin, like it would be very difficult to even fork Bitcoin, I think. And so yeah, it's tricky.
Why I'm really bullish on this concept is because it will basically turn upside down the whole industry that in the beginning, wherever it's a lovely industry, there's so much tribalism, right? But if this fully gets worked out, then you basically get this exporting of economic security. And then it's going to be like, well, you know, why would I trust something like, you know, Solana or all these other layer ones that are competing with other layer ones? Or maybe we will take off on Avalanche or whatever, or Cardano, which I doubt, because Ethereum has these super high settlement assurances, similar at Bitcoin level. The problem with Bitcoin is that it's like the joke, Millie, remember what I said on Twitter? With Bitcoin has some issues, right? Especially Bitcoin Core has issues. I've been, not many people know this maybe, but I've been quite active Bitcoiner in the past and switched to Ether, right, a long time ago. And I'm not going to get into that fully, but the thing is that I do think that if we get the export of economic security in a good way, and we can replay everything on this base layer, ETH, then it's more like, okay, why would I do anything on another chain? Because the economic security that you can give, you can actually do hundreds of millions or trillions of transactions, right? Theoretically, because you can say like, okay, we have this restake economic security, we have this thing, this state machine that does like, okay, we have this reality, and then we wait, for example, 10 seconds, and then we hash it another time. The cost of that is going to be very hard to compete with Ether, right? In my opinion. So it's going to be very interesting what's going to happen. And all the applications that are going to be built are going to be, it's going to be, I think it's maturing. So Ether and with restaking is maturing very fast, and everybody tries to keep up. There's 3 projects on Solana that are trying to do restaking, but it makes no sense because Solana is designed as a monolithic chain, right? Everything should be monolithic. That's the design principles there. Ether really switched that over. They were first also in that direction with sharding. It's like, okay, we're going to do a top-down approach with sharding, but now there's more of a bottom-up approach with like, okay, we have this settlement layer when we're building different optimistic rollups, CK rollups that are rolling back into the settlement layer with native blobs. And now restaking comes into play with eigenlayer, but maybe restaking will also be enshrined in the protocol later on. So if that happens, then it's going to be like, okay, but where is the value layer? 2, is there any value in, well, is the settlement layer will be very valuable, but there will be probably 1 or 2 settlement layers, not that much, I think. And I think the main value will be in the application layer, actually. My opinion.
I think, what the great thing about restaking is, like, I think it unlocks a lot of cheap block space by the way of like side chain, sort of like much more secure side chains, right? So like restaking gives you way secure side chains with like stronger finality and confirmation guarantees. So like it gives you very good
single slot finality. Single slot finality you will get. Yeah, single slot.
Yeah, exactly.
So
right.
that
So
is
like
very special. Yeah.
For these side chains, it's a huge gain. And so like anyone who wants to build a side chain, it becomes very cheap to do that. And then the other thing, like the one thing that we didn't really get into a lot is that the native restaking itself that's a major unlock. And I didn't really recognize this early on when I first started hearing about restaking, but the major unlock when with restaking is like when you get the validator to make commitments outside of those commitments that they make to the Ethereum protocol. And so that could be for like rollups. It could be a huge thing, right? Like they get pre-confirmations on transactions that they do because the validator that's supposed to propose a particular block like makes commitments to them in some way, right? To make those sequencing guarantees. And so like that is a major unlock for rollups because now you could build AVSs, which are just like essentially those validators on chain, like L1 rated native restaked validators, and they make up into these commitments that are strictly for sequencing these rollups, right? And now you have this like pool of like ready to go like validators that are just ready there to sequence rollup transactions. And now if you want to launch a rollup, it's like super easy. You just have us like this pool of restakers ready to just like give you a rollup from scratch, like with nothing, right? Like you don't have to run any infrastructure, especially if it's a ZK rollup, right? If it's an optimistic rollup, you just need to run a node to optimistically watch what's happening. But like if it's like if it's a ZK, well, we don't even have to watch anything. You just have to make sure the prover is like a well-designed prover, and that's it. And like that's it. Like you literally just launch a rollup, and this restaking network will secure it for you and process transactions for you, and give good guarantees to like the for confirmation. So it's like it's a major unlock in terms of block space, like supply. So like there's just going to be a huge. It's going to create a huge major inflow of block space like to the space over the next several years.
Yeah. Think about intent-based bridging, intent-based oracles, intent-based like multi-chain architecture. Like it's gonna go in that direction, and it's gonna take a while, to build all these infrastructures. And that I think is what people mostly forget is that if you want to do it in a good way, it will take some time, right? You cannot just be like, oh, here we go. This is this new protocol, and magically it works. It's just pretty complex, and you have to test a lot. It needs to harden. There's always all these little things and bugs and things you need to figure out. And that takes time, and that's fine. And I think we're getting there. It's going in a very good direction. I'm very bullish Eigen, very bullish Eigenlayer, and also very excited. Just very bullish Eve. Eve is, I think, doing very well at the moment, and it's very hated for some reason.
Is he doing very well? Let me check my portfolio. Nope. It's doing very badly.
Oh, really?
Oh, not very badly. It's fine. But yeah.
Right.
Well, one last thing on this restaking part before we move away. Before we move away from restaking, I just want to say one last thing on like I think the underrated thing here is that in this whole picture, like people who see like all this architecture and all this infrastructure, and they say, oh, we don't need more infrastructure, we don't need more of this. I feel like they're missing the bigger picture, because like when this infrastructure is getting built out, it increases the economic like mind share in the industry, right? So like now you have multiple teams working on some problem, and it's a positive some problem. So like when there's solutions made, multiple winners can live, right? Like it doesn't have to be one size fit, like one person takes all, winner takes all. So like it's a positive sum competition, and it creates like this economic mindshare increase, right, for the industry. And so like what you mentioned, intense architecture and stuff, like when you have a lot of different actors participating in these intents and like cross-chain like communication, like that's a good thing in some sense, even though like it's inefficient in a sense. It's a good thing because now you're increasing the mind share of the industry and the economic activity and the participants who are committed to this, to these activities and to like these different like economic roles within the ecosystem. So like it's not a bad thing, right? It's like job creation, quote unquote, for like and for the crypto industry, right? Like that's some way you can look at it, like for whoever is like an intent filler or like a participant in these various niche markets, because they are kind of niche in many cases, right? Not every rollup is going to have every integrated, like the main bridge integrated with them, right? So like not every rollup is going to get Uniswap intents integrated with them like at all times, right? So like it's you know, there's a lot of room for different people to participate, and I feel like that has network effects that like the monolithic like proponents they overlook this, right? There's these network effects that come with these like horizontally scaled, like these modular architectures, right? So yeah, I think you know that's an underrated aspect of it.
DAdvisoor, how much of this did you understand? More or less than half.
He checked out.
He's not even here anymore. So my takeaway from that whole conversation.
No, but that's the problem. But this is bullish and bearish. The bullish thing is that it's fine. Like this is the way forward, right? Like similar to like it's going to be like, you know, you find this cryptographic thing, or you find this new proof system, and then it's the way forward. It's the way to go. It's the way to harden the infrastructure that we all love and use and build. It's fine. Like we're going to get there. But at the same time, you also want eventually the price to pump. But I think that will come through the applications that are being built. So I'm a open source builder, and we should just all open source everything and just build and compete with each other with the best applications. I'm just still worried for Operation Chokehold to continue to like different networks and trying to attack it. The reason why we're still here is because like it's now a very political team, right? Like oh, Biden, Trump, they're all talking about it. It's amazing, you know. But it's just like
but you know what's interesting about Trump? Trump hated like amplice. Do you remember back in the like the period cycle? He hated crypto. Like he never liked crypto, and like his outgoing
But now
I still hate politicians. I hate politicians.
I know that it's not sure that people here or in the audience will agree with my take here, but I think that Trump is, in my opinion, is actually very intellectually honest. Like he's someone that can change his mind. I actually think it's about very like a few different topics. Yes.
I wouldn't say he's intellectual.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we shouldn't.
No, he's not as dumb. Like, to be honest, what can I say? I think he's much smarter than me. That's for sure.
We shouldn't give a shit about these people. Like, to be honest, it's just like, oh, Trump says this. No, it doesn't matter. We should build it so it doesn't. We should build it so it doesn't matter, right? It shouldn't matter. Like, that's the whole point of this, right? I don't care. I don't care what anybody tells me.
No,
Ideally-
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. That's supposed to be.
Ideally,
Yeah.
Biden could be like, "I hate crypto," and we should be like, "Well, come get us, motherfucker." Like we're not there yet,
No,
but that's the ideal
That's the
scenario.
whole point. We're not there yet. Like if we were there, I'd agree with you guys. But like, let's get real. You know, like we don't have the actual way to like manifest
Mistaking.
it, like to actually do it like we want. You know what I mean? Like so
Well, you
these
know what's
people.
funny?
These people do affect our lives, like whether we want to acknowledge it or
No.
not. It's still a part
Doesn't
of the.
affect my life.
Maybe less than
I'm
others.
joking. I'm joking.
No, honestly, like
No,
know,
but
like,
you know what the thing is? Like, in last cycle, Trump, like, he ended his term like completely against, like crypto. Like what he did, like if you remember, right as he was leaving office, they tried to put like a ban on wallets, like cell phones and wallets. They tried to do a bunch of really malicious like regulations passed like right
Wait,
before they
wait,
left
wait,
office.
wait. Do you think that's Trump? Who's doing that? Trump doesn't give a shit, right?
Yeah, I don't think
Biden
he cares
doesn't
either
give
way.
a shit. No,
There's
he
like
doesn't
somebody
care
on their
anyway.
staff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree
Somebody on
there,
their
okay?
staff.
It's-
Honestly, like what happened is like there's somebody high up in Biden's staff who's like he knows a guy who like made whatever 10 million on some fucking dog coin and he's fucking seething. He's like, Biden, you gotta shut this down. It's gonna destroy the economy. Biden's like, see now
and
he
it's
doesn't, he doesn't know what's going on.
You know,
He's like, oh yeah, sure. And then
you know, POTUS, like my friend is making more money than me. Like this is not cool. You have to push out some regulation.
like I literally think that that's probably the case. There's some there's like some.
I'm not so
No,
sure
but
you're that far off.
guys. The game is rigged. The financial game is rigged. The traditional financial game is rigged. It's completely
not only the financial game,
game,
by the way. Not only the financial.
Okay, the army, everything is rigged, but it starts with the financial game. And if we fix that, we take more control back to the people, and they don't like that, and that's why they're trying to block it. But it's also a lot of interest. They're super chaotic and unorganized. It's not one global cabal or something. It's just an unorganized mesh of things, similar to crypto, right? Crypto is also an unorganized mesh of chaos, and that's the world, right? So I think that is all coming together, and this is interest. You know, you show me the incentives, I show you the outcome. There's people making shitloads of money with the traditional financial system. They don't like crypto, and they're trying to shut it down, and they can't. That's good. So, yeah.
I 100% agree with that. There's like I think that is
100%.
100. That is the main motivator for every government like that looks at crypto. Like they have incumbents that are very entrenched, and they look at this as a threat. And so almost every major economy, and I've said this before on this podcast, like every major economy is gonna have some skepticism towards this, and it's gonna be like the more like up and coming economies that might look at this, or the ones that are more like might benefit from it. That'll be open to it, right? But otherwise, it's like you look at it and it's kind of like a problem because it's disruptive to the status quo. So they're always going to look at it that way, no matter which I think administration's in office. I agree. But I have to admit, like Trump, after he got a taste of those Trump cards, those NFTs, like his view did change. It's like there's 100%, like there is some change there. Like there was a pivot.
You know, the man knows finance. He knows utility. He saw that it has utility. Okay, it's good.
Are those cards gonna pump?
I don't know.
Oh,
to
God,
be
I
honest,
have to
if
look at those.
you win the election, my money is that they're gonna pump. Like someone's gonna remember they exist. No.
All right, I gotta go. Dale, let's chat about leverage on Yieldness.
Thank you so much for coming. Amplice, was a pleasure as always.
Thanks for having me.
Probably a good place to actually wrap it up, right? It's probably a good place.
Use leverage on Gearbox. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Yeah, let's go Gearbox. All right, thank you guys.
Gearbox.
Are we staying or also calling it night?
I can stay, but Millie, if you need to wrap up or whatever, like all good, man. But Dale, if you still have some stuff to talk about, I'm in no hurry or something like that. We can keep talking.
I have another like 10 minutes, so I'm okay to stay if you guys want to wrap it up. Then whatever you think. If we're gonna
go
go
for it, man.
I kind of.
So another anti-government, anti-culture rant. I love it. I'll hear for it.
You know, we should actually get back the bunny on one of these decentralization discussions.
Oh, he's amazing. Like his threads
really
like
take you down the rabbit hole, the bunny hole, whatever.
Yes.
It's a problem also in crypto because most of the things you see on the internet or Twitter or anything is all fake, right? But a lot of these these countercultural things, they're real, right? Because nobody's really paying them to be anti-establishment or anti-culture or things like that, right? So I think it seems very real. No psyop stuff or whatever. There's some really weird shit going on all the time, everywhere you look. It's only gonna get more crazy with the whole AI and everything. We're all gonna live in this weird bubble or something, and we have to defend ourselves. And yeah, we have to hold on to real things. It's important.
We have to make our own reality, our own reality in this.
True, as
But-
much
but-
as
but-
possible.
I'm gonna get going. It was great chatting with you guys. Had a lot of fun. Enjoyed
You,
the
man.
conversation.
Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it, Millie. See you next week,
See you
hopefully.
next week. See you guys.
Thank you, Millie. Right, I'm also gonna drop us a bit late here, DAdvisoor and everybody. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're all for coming. We'll wrap it up
It's gonna have on
here.
as well.
By the way, folks, check out Yieldness. You say it's coming.
Yes.
When?
Monday, the 13th of May at 12:42 UTC time. You can deposit, contracts will open, and then we will, you will see what's coming. We want to reward good behavior of the protocol. So come in, deposit, and we would love to work together to make DeFi decentralized and to make restaking great and focused on the future. And we're I'm very positive and bullish. It's gonna be a bit sideways, upways, downways, but it's net positive. Everything's looking very, very, very good. Yeah,
very
Exciting
interesting.
times.
Wish you guys a lot of luck. I think you are very not only an extremely talented and knowledgeable builder, you're also very honest and motivated and doing it for the right reasons from what I'm seeing. And I've been following you even since before I was a DAdvisoor and stuff, even on when I saw you on Ivan on Tech and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even saw that you were there a few weeks ago as well. Talk about Yieldness. I think it's a very good move by you guys, and really wish you a lot of luck. And I will add even this. I heard a rumor from someone that I really respect, and he told me that he gave it a glance to Yieldness, and he says that it's looking good.
Oh, really?
So much respect. Yeah,
That's
much respect.
That's amazing. That's
And
amazing.
okay, Deo, anything you want to add? I'm just going to talk a bit about the Squid. We just had the Squid airdrop, by the way, for participants. It's mostly not for video participants yet and guests of the show. It's mostly for those who have submitted headlines and for those who have minted our episodes on pods.media that we upload. So folks, check your Fractal addresses if you have submitted some these for us, and check if you got some Squid. If you think you should have gotten some Squid and didn't, for sure, let us know whenever. We're Leviathan News. Always a pleasure to be here with our contributors. Thank you very much, Dio. Thanks, of course, to Millie and Amplice, my co-hosts as well. And hope to see you next week as well, Deo. Usually we try to do it at around this time, but honestly, we should try to get whether it's on a weekly panel or on another show, we should get you, Millie, and Bunny on the same call at least, and maybe some others, because I think we can have a very interesting decentralization and government discussion / rant / whatever. It can be fun, actually.
I love it. I'm looking forward to that already. Thank you so much. Let's make that happen. And guys, next week 13th, I see you there. And have a great night, day, and thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Good luck with you. Okay. Bye. Bye, folks. Thank you very much. What did you say, Deo? Didn't get it?
I said, well, Bagami, we're all gonna make it.
Okay. Amen. Amen, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great weekend. Bye, folks.
Bye-bye.